Vielen Dank, Herr Bartnick, liebe Prue, lieber Herr Bartnick, lieber Herr Matzner, dear colleagues. We're not getting too German this morning. This is our very third German to appear, and I tried to live up to our reputation and image by also sticking to my allocated timetable. Let me just make some general remarks on German-New Zealand cooperation in the field of STC. You would know that great names like Einstein, Röntgen laid the foundations for Germany's reputation as the land of scholars and scientists. It was not so long ago that, wanting to embark on a career in science, you had to spend some time as a student in a German laboratory or a German lecture hall. And maybe you wouldn't know that in the early 20th century, about 1/3 of all Nobel Prizes were won by German scientists. And some of their innovations and inventions changed the world, for instance, the theory of relativity, the discovery of X-rays, and so on. And some developments by German scientists still enhance our daily lives today. As you know, Heinrich Goebel invented the first light bulbs in 1854. Carl Benz, as you know, invented the gasoline-powered automobile in 1885. And last but not least, also to mention Otto Lilienthal, the German pioneer of human aviation and first successful aviator of humanity, is worth a mention. And more recently, you're also aware that products have become integral parts of our daily life, which were also invented by Germans, like the television, the computer, and the MP3 player. And we have Mr. Matzner with us, and I might mention that the MP3 player was developed by Fraunhofer Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, it might have taken James Cook 3 years to sail from Europe to New Zealand and back. Today, the average still has to cover more than 20,000 kilometers. But for many Germans, New Zealand is a dream of a lifetime. And about 20 years ago, there was a famous German movie directed by Wim Wenders, which was called Far Away, So Close. And I believe this title also epitomizes the cooperation between our two countries these days. Despite email and Skype facilitating communication, scientists also need personal contacts with the international counterparts. And that's why we concluded formal arrangements and agreements with New Zealand institutions, German Research Foundation, the Humboldt Foundation, etc. In the case of Humboldt, there are 115 New Zealand fellows. That's the highest number of fellows per capita. And as you know, Humboldt is a very prestigious foundation. In return, Humboldt, New Zealand in 2005, and I think Prue already alluded to this, introduced the Julius von Haast Fellowship, giving renowned German scientists an opportunity to work in New Zealand. Also a brief mention of the DAAD, which is the German Academic Exchange Service, which sponsors scholarships for professors and students from New Zealand every year. And we're trying to increase the number. At the moment, the numbers of scholars through the DAAD are rather limited, but we are really working hard on getting more Kiwis to our country. Another important research organization is the Fraunhofer Foundation, represented today by Herr Matzner, with a cooperative focus on institutes researching in the areas of biotechnology, material sciences, etc. Germany and New Zealand, as was already mentioned by Prue, have been closely linked now for almost 35 years through the STC, Science and Technology Cooperation Agreement. There are only 3 other countries, China, Japan, USA, that have similar agreements, and we've just referred also to the UK. Some 200 German scientists work at New Zealand universities and Crown Research Institutes. Here in Wellington and Lower Hutt we have the GNS Institute, and I must say when I first visited the GNS Institute in Lower Hutt, I actually spoke more German than English. Not just because there were so many German researchers, but the New Zealand researchers also spoke German. That really facilitates our cooperation, as you can imagine. We also already mentioned the science coordinator between Germany and New Zealand, who is in charge of our cooperation. The mere fact that the appointment of the science coordinator had to be approved by government, by cabinet, also indicates how important this is to New Zealand and to our country as well. Our cooperation at the moment focuses on 8 areas. These are food, agriculture, biotechnology, environment, especially climate change, which is a prime concern to all of us, marine and Antarctic research, renewable energies, advanced manufacturing, and health, and of course, ICT. In all those fields, Germany is in the top 4 of citations. And an impressive example that I'd like to briefly refer to is the cooperation of Geoforschungszentrum Potsdam and GNS Science here in Lower Hutt, working on a range of earth science areas. Another milestone is marine research cooperation. Only next month, our great research vessel Sonne will come to Auckland and to Wellington. Last year we had the even bigger Polarstern research vessel here, etc. And there's a lot of participation by New Zealand researchers. 15% of New Zealand researchers enjoy an active collaboration with their German counterparts. And another project that was agreed upon in May 2009 is the cooperation between scientists of Waikato, largely coordinated by the late Professor Terry Healy, who tragically passed away earlier last year, and their partners at Bremen University. Just one further technical mention of the International Mobility Fund, which is based on the Science and Technology Agreement. Both countries support joint research projects within the frame of this fund. The program supports bilateral research through the providing of funds to New Zealand scientists traveling to Germany and to work on joint research tasks. And I'm sure that Prue and Rick Peterson will be much more capable of answering further questions on this fund than I would be. Researchers are encouraged to make applications simultaneously in both Germany and New Zealand if possible. And the applications should also go through the Royal Society. This year's applications should be handed in by 28th of February, so that leaves you about 10 days to go on. Among all fields of cooperation, of course, ICT is becoming more and more important. The importance of ICT is growing in regard also to networks of competences. In Germany, there are 128 networks, including research organizations, companies, and academic institutions. At least 13 of these, 10%, operate in the field of ICT research. Important scholarships and support for ICT projects are also generated by German-New Zealand Mobility Scheme. It's coordinated by the Ministry and the International Office of the Research Ministry in Berlin and Bonn. The amount of funding has been substantially increased to $160,000 to 2010, and in the ICT area, 9 projects have so far been funded. To develop a further closer cooperation in the ICT field and to improve coordination of funding, today's workshop, I believe, offers an ideal environment for development of new projects. For any further information on funding for science projects for New Zealand, the German federal government has recently set up a federal research innovation funding advisory service. And I think we've already distributed a leaflet with all the information on this issue. So please allow me just to conclude on this matter and pass the floor to my esteemed colleague from Madrid, Marcos Gomes. Thank you very much.